Okay, let's open up the October 12th, 2023 meeting of the Templeton Community Preservation Committee. We have a quorum of members present here at the town hall. And we will start with a discussion on the meeting minutes for the last meeting, which was September 14th. Jessica has given everybody ample notice of this, but anybody wants to review them a little more or whatever. It was a lengthy meeting last month, a lot of items covered. I've reviewed them and think they're in great shape.
Everybody's ready. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve them unless somebody needs some more time to review. Hearing none, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes approved. We have nobody online.
Nope.
Okay. Next item is the admin update.
The Houghton Park Rehabilitation Grant and Master Plans were submitted to Capital for project funding review, and Capital reviewed it on Tuesday, the 10th.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Also, the Hazard Mitigation Planning Group met on Thursday, October 5th in a public forum and are looking for public input via a survey. So I handed you all a little small piece of paper. If you have time and you're available, you can go to that link and fill out the survey. Also, outside of this door, there's paper copies if you're interested.
Very good. And this is something that everybody out there in the world can scan their QR code.
And you can, even if you don't live in town, if you just work in town or if you have a vested interest in the town, you can fill that survey out as well.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. CPC Finance, Jessica's given us the updated balance sheet.
I would just like to make note about that sheet that it appears that the town accountant has not moved the 17,500 from the Affordable Housing Fund back into the bucket yet. I still see it in the project list in the middle,
Okay,
even though last meeting you guys voted to move it.
yeah,
back.
I'm sure she'll reconcile
Yep.
that soon.
Just wanted to point that out.
Thank you for checking on that.
And then also, once you guys are talking about that, Mr. Henshaw, I wanted to talk about the invoice we got from Icon Architecture, what we
Okay.
want to do. The balance in that fund is what?
$260.
And we got an invoice for $446.03. So we can't cover it. So what is the action?
So they billed us, so we had a $9,000 contract with them. They billed us $9,000 and then they added on $86.03 for mileage.
Yep.
Which, hadn't been part of the, it was unforeseen and it was not part of the voted money. So the options that we have, we can vote to use our administrative budget to cover those costs, or we can send it back to town administrator for a recommendation.
I just like to make a motion, we use to cover the cost if we have any money.
How much is the difference?
It's $86.03.
Well, how much is left in the?
Yeah, so I said if we have the money.
Let's see, where's that at?
The total invoice is $446.03, but your fund balance has $360.
Yeah.
So she's asking.
So how much money is in the,
admin budget?
our budget thing?
It should
Where's
be at the top.
Oh, at the top. Okay.
And all of it. is
Of
mine.
under the buckets, the last one that says admin account, 21,000.
Yes.
I would suggest we just give them whatever we have left in the contract, and if they want more, they should come back and bill us for it.
Well, that's what they've done. They've billed us for all the work, and the work was exactly what the contract was, and now they've billed us an excess billing of $86.03.
I would give them what we voted for, and they probably would just dismiss the balance. I don't think they're gonna chase $40 there.
$86.03.
Cost them more than that in fees.
Yeah, we gotta pay our bills though.
Okay, so we had a motion made and seconded to pay the $86.03 out of the admin budget. If we had the admin funds available, we have $21,933 in the budget. And does that include the encumbrance pertaining as to our administrative support person's salary?
I'm still in there. Yeah, I haven't been taken out of there completely.
So she did not move that out. She doesn't encumber it. She pays as she goes. So that is, so realistically, we probably have, let's see, this is what, October, so July, August, September, so we're a third of the way through, so 2/3 of your salaries yet to be paid, which I believe is somewhere around, say, $18,000 roughly is that fraction of your salary, so that would be additional $12,000 that needs to come out of this to cover your cost or thereabout. So we have approximately less than $10,000 in that budget available that we've already committed to pay Jessica for the 8 hours we get of her per week.
This is for mileage.
Yes,
What mileage?
driving out here and looking at the Baldwinville Fire Station. Federal rate now is 65 cents a mile.
Why didn't they include that? in
This
the-
is for their business. I'm a little uneasy about paying it. I know it's a pretty insignificant amount, but
Yeah, it's the
If you
first
wanna
time
do
it's ever
business,
come up.
yeah.
We've only ever paid, if anything, like a project cost is overrun. We never spend more than we have. We go back to townspeople, and ask for more money if we needed it. Hence, Scott Hall, we had 2 votes on that. This is $86.03. It's something that, kind of came out of the blue. I don't remember seeing any contract that said, we're gonna charge you this plus an additional. No, I agree. I don't think we should pay it either, but throw it back to them but we have a motion on the floor to pay it. So any further discussion on the motion on the floor?
I don't think anybody seconded it.
Did you second it?
No.
No, I just was told that we should pay our bills in our town, so that's what I'm going with, that's all. And we have the money, so that's why I said it. I mean, they build it, it's what they feel, and I don't know how that works if we say no, and do we tie this
Well,
off?
if we don't pay it now, then we just see how they respond. And then if they say, well, we don't think it is a car, we'll say, well. Or, maybe the town administrator would reconcile it because it's an overage unanticipated on a bid project. And it comes out of some other budget.
I mean, if it's bidded, do they have, I would just ask a question, so if it's bidded a certain price, isn't that the lock stock price? Like, are they even allowed to do more?
They,
Yes, you can always ask.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I just don't, like I said, I just be told based on my department that they say I gotta pay my bills.
the original agreement.
right, we had a contract with them for $9,000.
And this just encourages further add-on expenses.
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe I take it back.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
No.
All right, so we'll just have to table this for now.
No, you don't have to table it.
We can finish.
Yeah.
There's no motion.
I make a motion that we pay the balance of the contract,
We-
or the
yeah.
balance of the,
There you go.
$360.
we pay the $360.
Okay, that's, I second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to pay the $360. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you very much.
Thanks,
So-
team. Appreciate it. I
So,
will do that next week.
yeah, they,
Just so. we're-
okay, next. Any other questions or comments on the CPC finances?
No.
So we'll move on to current projects. First item listed here is the Emergency Management Building Report, which Jessica provided a link to. They provided a 240-page report.
The report.
I'm sure you know. Could we
Here
read it
is-
through
Yeah,
before-
it could be bigger though. It could be bigger.
Cost estimation thing.
Pay by the inch.
No, they did a great job. I don't want to disparage them. They went through, we had a nice meeting with them. Also, Rich Curtis from the Emergency Management was there, Jessica and I and Adam. And they went through, they did a thorough job. And I've scanned it. They've got a lot of, renderings and things like that, different scenarios that could happen. And that's what you see here in this cost estimate. They have a lot of different phases that they could, propose. Or we could do it in phases or all at once. The use of an elevator, as you can see, that's over $1 million. So basically, what they have indicated was in order to rehabilitate that historic building, including bring the doors back. That's the least about of it. But making space, making it once you start a project in a non-compliant building, you must make it compliant.
Yeah,
So that's why that's one of the reasons the costs are here, such as if that is indeed public space upstairs, you need to have an elevator to get there, so it's ADA compliant. And costs are associated with that here for a little over $1 million. Because of the height that would need to go, you can't use one of these low-cost elevators, you gotta use a fancier, high-cost one. Another thing that they had talked about was putting an additional conference facility in the back, which could be the meeting room. That is not CPA eligible because that is new construction, not rehabilitation of a historic structure. So the town could pursue that if they had other funds available. So right now, I believe this is kind of in limbo because the town fathers and the emergency management team and those folks need to, review. We are not presently at a time where, we have,
and this is for the
$2 million.
emergency management building. That whole building, so that's just gonna be emergency management stuff in there. So
Yeah.
like the fire department or none of those things will use that. I mean, that's,
not under general use. I'm sure
Okay.
there would be, there would be some
Just curious.
activities there. And if they do have a fancy conference room, people would use it.
yeah,
We have a training facility and conference room on the second floor currently. And the offices that we're required to have by FEMA are also on the second floor. They are not accessible to a handicapped individual. Therein lies the rub.
Yeah. So this is mostly informational at this time because we're obviously not looking, the next series of proposals for funding will be for the May town meeting. So there could be time for them to develop and come forward with a proposal based on this. Now they have some good hard fast numbers that they can use to, perhaps leverage for additional funding through other sources, federal, state, local, whatever. They could come up with some approach that would, meet this, but at least we know where we're at, and I don't think we can do anything more at this time. Have anybody else want to say anything more about it? So we'll have more discussions, I'm sure, about that, because I still believe it's a good project. It's very expensive.
yeah.
The next item is that okay? Moving on then? The next item is on the Gilman Waite tennis pickleball court.
Yeah, so this is your guys' discussion last time, you guys all requested more information on the performance. Here's the best.
Yeah, I also said, I'm there on Tuesday with it.
The first page is the fencing proposal, $15,850. After that is the one bid that you all were discussing at last meeting at $178,500. So that's the details of that. You guys were asking, who did it and how long is it good for? And then the last page is a comparable that Candace acquired for Gardner rehabbing their two courts at $72,000. So the TA was directed to go get new bids for repair. And a bid package was reposted on September 26th.
It closes on the 25th. No,
Now
but
that was
the
the
25th.
bidding, the same exact bid, wasn't it? It's a
Yes.
bid of the same.
Yes, it's the same, it's the
It
same
was a-
project.
It was a rebid?
Yeah, it's a
not
rebid of the project, yeah.
Rebid of the
Um,
project.
I did talk to, like, the former mayor of Gardner. He does the, for the school, he does the stuff.
Mhm.
And so I talked to him about this, and he was the one who gave me all the information so that I could call, and I talked to the gentleman from that company. But we do have, possibly 2 to 3 possible candidates that might come forward to bid this time. We sent a bunch out to people, but, I've been asked some questions back from a couple of people about it, and Bob says that he's got someone possibly that might bid too, so that's promising. Hopefully they'll go in the pocket of where we need. I mean, we'll see where we go. The company that bid, I did have some concerns. It was very high, but when I noticed something, was one thing, the company, if you go to the website, is basically a mainly fencing company. Which I thought was interesting that they bid on project that wasn't gonna have the fencing in the project, it was already, like, fencing was a different aspect of it. They were only bidding on the actual resurfacing of the court, so that I found that fascinating. I couldn't find much more or get more information to see, for both them. So I don't know. I just had this gut, and then talking to Gardner, looking at some other places, I just had this feeling that maybe we could have a good shot at this again.
And also the bid package that was reposted, it closes on October 25th. So maybe I can provide you guys an update at the next meeting.
Great. Now, yeah, that was one of the issues that we all had was just to rely on the one bid. So hopefully we'll get some more. And even if they are all more than the monies that we have available, we will have time to put together an additional proposal if we deem appropriate for the May town meeting. So thank you for your continued work on this.
You're welcome.
and
Watch for my
Jessica.
back.
Yeah, and sometimes people will throw a bid in there and just hope somebody bites on it. And other times now, that's why it's tough to land on only one. So we'll see where it goes and we'll have more information for the future. Okay, so any other discussion on the Gilman Waite thing? Okay, so for the other current project update would be that we, as you guys know,
Adrian Baptist.
Yeah.
You talk.
the Baptist Common Cemetery property was surveyed and marked. If you go by there, you'll see some forested marking out there. We've gone out there and looked at it, and Bob Joseph has marked some trees. It does not look like there needs to be a significant amount of tree removal. Does not look like there would be any root extrication, but there might be some root grinding, which means that there would likely not need to be a significant impact via the Concom.
I already, yeah, as conservation agent, I did my site walk to determine the minor activities and the exceptions that would apply there. Also, Mr. Sozik proposed to me to bring to you guys to use dense graded base for $500 on the trail instead of free wood chips, due to his thought of it being less maintenance to clean up the area. He said that tree work will be less than $5,000, so we are way under budget for the project.
Is that allowed by Concom?
As conservation, I wouldn't recommend it, but I understand his,
Are you talking regrind?
he's talking dense graded base. He's talking about like rocks with stone dust and all that in there. Because it's more compactable versus the wood chips.
Which grow?
Yeah, and I get that, but I don't think dense graded base is covered under trail work. So if that's something you want, that's fine. I just think that you'd have to file with Concom and that's just the extra step. So either way.
So just to say one other thing is what Bob has proposed. Okay, so there is a cutout there where there will be a parking for perhaps 2 vehicles.
Yep.
The sign has been approved and will be there near
Yep.
the road. The trail won't necessarily physically start with the identified split rail until you get towards the tree line. So there will be like a stretch of grass. So we wouldn't propose putting any kind of material for that space. Is that
Agreed.
true?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. There's 2 beautiful gigantic trees set back. It almost looks like a grand entrance. So the thought is to put 2 little bit of fencing right off of those trees as like a grand entrance and then continue the split rail fencing. Just to delineate, where residents should be. And not on the neighbor's property.
And what was the material choice?
And so that also would be saving in fencing material.
This is the town. Yeah.
Do you have to replace the wood chips on a periodical basis?
Yeah.
So that'll be a cost that
They're free.
I can. speak
they're
for-
free. Oh, they'll come every year.
Yeah.
Somebody will come and put wood chip.
Bob says free wood.
I don't
wood chip
see a
is-
huge amount of traffic.
Where do you get free wood chips?
I agree. I think it's more of a.
Oh, and they take down the trees and then put
I
them down. Oh,
understand
is
his
that the
point
way
of
we
view.
get them? Oh,
I just have to tweet for the.
oh, we get them.
Right? Am I right?
Okay, so just to continue on with the plan, when you turn the corner, he is gonna have to remove some material that was piled up in the stone wall to access into the cemetery. And he's gonna get in there with the crew and just move some rocks and he's gonna have to trim a few trees out there. And he's not looking to do any kind of impact on the cemetery itself, other than perhaps some trimming of branches and things like
Correct.
that. And then he will work with the cemetery on that. or, make sure that everything's copacetic with them.
I assume where he punches a hole through a stone wall, he's gonna put some sort of walking path.
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it would just be like an entrance way.
But
Yeah.
the wood chips will have to be put periodically, but they'll be free because of the trees coming down, but then we'll have to pay somebody to actually, so one of his workers, he'll have to pay to actually put the wood chips down.
So you don't pay.
Yes, it'll be
he's the
part of their
DPW
job.
director. Part
Yeah,
of
I'm just
their
saying
job
that the
duties.
time, yeah, it's an
Make-
extra
More
thing that,
work for them.
yeah, okay,
Yeah. and
So it
there's
wasn't
no
technically
maintenance
free.
cost Associated.
we're still paying for them.
Correct, and that was the original.
Did
project.
those on the path, and they disappeared after a while. It does.
Well, they
require
do,
some
yeah.
maintenance.
But so was.
Yeah.
Right. Get caught in the leaves and. Couple of years later.
Plus weather.
Yeah.
Cemetery. This is Andrew's house.
Right.
This is the ranch. there.
It isn't.
It has the pins that you see with the paint. When you drive by,
Okay.
these are the chips. So it's this will be the entryway here around the back
It's the ash trees that are all falling.
Yeah. cemetery.
They can
Well,
take
that's
them out.
broken.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
site
that's
walk
coming to the backside, yeah.
Is the cemetery
Right,
right here.
right.
This is
Yeah.
Mr. Andrews' house. and
That's how people used to go across.
Parking-
across here.
Parking spots we're gonna put right here with the sign. that
Private
says
property.
Project
We
supported. by-
talked to John and he worked.
And then probably about right here. there's
Yeah, why should it, when we have town
all
property?
Yeah,
more strong trees that they would just put.
Yes,
you know,
please.
Little split rail fencing coming off of that. I haven't seen that one.
And I guess that's what he's
They're gonna come up and go in and
here
here.
and then punch it.
That's just from cemetery. You need to walk through now, you have a split rail fencing on the side, so you know, we're gonna go around the neighbor and.
That would be great.
There used to be a pond down here.
One's over here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So the DPW is beyond that.
Maybe.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
realize we had that.
It's quite a big, if you look at the overlay and if you see where the fluorescent stakes are, it's encompasses.
Yeah, when you drive
significant
by.
part of what it looks
Literally
like.
started
lawn.
to, go to, oh, my sister, it was given to the farm, the farm.
And then
Maybe
you.
never remember the walk.
These are-
Great project.
What is this?
That is the vegetation that's currently there in between this residence property and the cemetery.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's just scrappy old trees.
And,
Neighborhoods.
yeah,
It's a great project.
So the question before us is whether we should recommend the wood chips or allow Bob to go forward with his recommendation or ask for more information.
Are we gonna go over budget if we go with the stone?
no,
He is the guy in charge of DPW, so.
Maybe we should ask for more information just to find out, if it's gonna be too much extra work for him.
And whether it has an environmental impact or.
yeah, I mean, I think conservation wise, you would have to do a filing because it's not covered under trail work.
Okay.
So
So it's his choice if he then really wants that, then he would have to do it in a while. Or an RDA.
And I don't think with all the
Great.
work that they've got left to do this season, I don't think that it's necessarily a top of this priority to get this thing done. Is that true?
This season, not because he's gonna get it done, he already marked the trees, so. as
Yeah.
soon as he can get it over.
Because the trees, that's one thing. So the trees will be done by a professional company. That will be, that's a line item. Split rail, we won't determine that till, we know what the lineage is and.
What's nicer to walk on, what feels nice under your feet too.
Kind of looks better.
Yeah.
You know, environmental look would have the wood chips. I agree. And it would be more in keeping, this is not gonna be for vehicles, it's gonna be a walking trail.
The town cuts down those trees and chips them up, so it should be enough.
Yeah, so they can't take the stumps out without a conservation filing, so they're gonna cut down, they have to cut down no further than 3 inches, so they're gonna use some of that. to fill it in. And that was.
So the only other thing that would be going out to is probably like mowing equipment.
Yeah.
That would be the entrance for the town.
Correct, so instead of using the right away or blessing that they currently have now on the other side, they're gonna get through that way. So I mean, the vehicles could compact it, whatever is on the trail.
Okay,
I'd like to say that we would prefer wood chips, however, if he feels strongly, then he'll need to make his case before.
Yeah.
He should come to us with his plan and then make his case before conservation.
Yeah,
That's
that sounds-
kind of how I feel about that.
I agree 100%.
I agree. Okay.
It's you guys' wheelhouse, so I agree with you guys.
Okay, so
Got it.
that's
You don't need a formal.
really the. that we
It's
need
just
to,
feedback to give him. Wood
Yeah.
chips are the priority. If he really wants dense graded base, come back and talk more.
okay, any other current projects that anybody would like an update or share info on?
I do.
Okay,
Last night at the select board meeting, they went with a bid for Scout Ball for sunset. So, the first number by the check construction was 28,000. The TA said that the payment bond was not secure, so they could not go with it. So they have to do another one, higher. Said that it will help. So the CPC Scout all fund balance is written there. And so the TA should be going for our full request for the different, including electrical and plumbing, and that will get the entire project. It's not coming to CPC for the additional funds.
okay.
Was there any,
Sounds like a deal.
in the discussion deciding what Scout Hall will actually be used for?
I didn't attend the select board meeting, but I did, I heard through the TA's office that TCTV will be included.
They did say it in one meeting, all on camera, all of
Weren't you
them.
there?
They were all
Did
there
they-
on camera a few months ago,
Right.
and Julie and all of them said the TCTV was gonna be there. They just wouldn't have do like a formal vote or anything, which was weird. I found it very weird. They all agreed on it. And it was so weird, but they wouldn't take a vote on it, which I found
That's
very
fine, that's,
But
weird,
this is good. Just want.
I would like
you
to
guys
bring
this
one thing
information.
up.
just weird.
We need to let them know that they need to also have a sign, completion sign,
Okay.
and then the cost for that is gotta be within the project cost. So if they need to take out of that fund hall
Yeah,
$30,922.84, the
Fine.
funds required to put the appropriate CPA acknowledgement sign on there, which
Mhm.
might lead them to asking a little bit more from ARPA. Now, signs vary in cost,
Is
we've
there
got,
one there?
there's a temporary one, which Al Mayo has used in other projects, but that is not meant to be permanent. We
Okay.
need something that actually is,
yeah, I think, yeah.
aesthetic.
Perfect. I will relay that message.
And so basically, like the signs that the cemetery have used, those cost $3,000 a piece, or the what, similarly with what Dwelly did, theirs was a couple $1,000, but I think, and then the bronze one that Al did with the World War I memorial, that was significantly that cost as well. So
Yep.
it could cost anywhere in that ballpark, so
Very
we
fair.
really, and they're also doing a sign for this building, acknowledging all the CPA projects and funds that have been expended on that, and that's something that we're waiting for the final cost on, and then we are gonna have to appropriate admin budget money to pay for that, because it wasn't included in the project costs.
Mhm.
And it's many projects are getting acknowledged, like the vault, the records, the building, and all of these other things. And I think the cupola is even listed, the cupola project's not yet gone out to bid.
Correct.
But anyway, so if you could share
I
with the TA that
I
I
will.
think we do need to cover the cost of that sign, because that is a CPA requirement. This is the final expenditure of $100,000, you get $250,000, project. So the whole amount of money spent looks like it's gonna be in the order of $135,000 on that building. Hopefully it'll be a good, well-used building.
I will relay that message.
Thank you very much. What else? Anything else on current?
I'm good on current projects.
Okay, so moving on, next would be to the fall town meeting, which everybody should have marked on their calendars, is November 15th. Is it at 6 p.m.?
It is, yep.
And we've got several projects on there. Or at least,
The approved
Thank you.
articles and the select board met last night. when they-
okay, great. So as everybody will remember from last month, this committee voted to move forward with 750,000 additional funds for the Baldwinville Elementary redevelopment, or school redevelopment for community housing. And then 2 projects related to the Houghton Park Playground. one which is in support of the proposal that was submitted to the park program. Which is the $137,000, 434, and of which if we are approved. I don't see, okay. let's do that.
Approval of the CPA funds for this project is contingent upon the
Okay.
town receiving the park grant and its associated reimbursement return for the CPA and designated reserve fund for left.
Thank you. I was reading Article 3 instead of 2. and I was confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the ones that we voted to support in the select board to put them on the warrant, so that'll be good. That is also the day that the town is supposed to receive its state match. We don't even know how much that is yet from the CPA fund. Okay. Any other discussion on the fall town meeting? Hearing none, moving on to potential projects, the ones that we have listed here, and I don't think we necessarily will be discussing them, but they leave them as placeholders. Grange Hall ADA lift access, we did not vote to proceed with that for this fall town meeting, and we did request that the proponent go to the state access board to get approval for the lift that they were proposing for that. And you may want to jiggle the handle on that at some point to see if they've started that process.
I will reach out.
Otter River Pool, Crotty Dam, I know we discussed that a proposal was submitted,
Yeah, no updates.
and Dudley Road, I know that's, we keep it there, okay, Gilman, Waite, Ballfields.
No, we haven't get any estimates yet. We're gonna be working on it soon to start getting some ideas for that. And nothing to update.
Okay, and then in any other potential project space, we could probably bring anything else up, that could be a future agenda item. Did you want to?
Oh, I just wanted to say, so we were looking through I was looking through the, the CPC, the online thing, we can look at all projects that they had through the years. And I just did stuff on tracks just to see what was going on. And so I found out that I didn't know this. So apparently, when you're in a regional, you can actually, I think it was Air Shirley. I didn't print anything out for tonight because we wasn't on the agenda. But like Air Shirley is a regional. And what happened was when they did their track, some of the funding did come from CPC. But it also came from both towns that
Both
were in the
towns
regional.
CPC.
So both towns CPC. So, but not the whole, I mean, it's a track. It's very, very expensive. So they got other funding from other sources. But a small fraction came from both towns, which I found fascinating that I didn't realize that a regional, I didn't realize a school in general put in for CPC funding because I had never researched that. But I was fascinated to know that when you're in a regional contract, that both towns could have, and I didn't really think about it, both towns, the CPC had CPC in their towns, they could also give CPC funding to a project. Which
Yes.
was fascinating to, to understand that that's a thing. So I thought
You
that was
could
a
even-
different thing to
You are
know.
allowed, we could do a project in Gardner if the town people wanted to vote for it. It's not restricted to your own geography if the
Right.
people vote for it.
But the fact that,
So in a
yeah,
regional agreement like that, it would only be perfectly adequate or appropriate to, come together with a CPC project where just like we have a split 80-20 on enrollment or whatever, that Phillipson might be interested in participating in that as
give me
well.
some money, yeah. That's
So-
just fascinating that is a project. I just didn't know. There were many other towns and stuff. Like I said, I wasn't prepared for tonight. I would have printed some out. But if you go in on the database and you search it, you'll find many other towns that did tracks. It's a lot of them. And if they were regionals, that's what they would do. Both sides of the coin would give in for each, if they had CPC in each town or city. It was fascinating. I didn't realize that could happen.
Yeah, that's great. And so what we would want to see then is what would the project be? And then if we would want to reach out to Phillips then to see if they're interested or not.
Like I said, track is very, very expensive. It would need other grant money and stuff for the school to pull it off. Maybe some loans on their end, but these are more funding possibilities for our school district if it was something they ever wanted to. Or just, and maybe something else in general for the school, knowing that the two of them, it could be a smaller project too.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything that is a CPA eligible, could be
Yeah.
done, but it's a split.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Okay, thank you. Any other potential projects that we would want to have for future?
I have a question
Yep.
on one that come before, this board before, which is the facade on the first church. And there seemed to be some real push to get that done. And then for months now, I haven't heard anything. So,
Yeah, I would say that it's still in the court of the First Church to
yeah,
come
no,
back. to us.
I believe
Yeah.
it is. It's just funny, we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, specifically, this committee had expressed interest in supporting something that would not violate the separation of church and state by, enhancing the common and being exterior and not religious. And I still feel that way personally, and maybe we should reach out to whomever. I mean, it's a small church is difficult to keep running.
Last time that I did contact them, it said that they got the roof done through other funds though.
Well, no, it wasn't the roof, it's the structural of the front.
Whatever they
More
call it.
like the facade.
The facade
The
pulling away from the main
columns?
part of the,
Yeah.
well, it goes up
Plenum
to
or
a
whatever
pediment.
they call
at
it,
the top.
pediment, yeah.
The pediment was pulling away from the main body of the church.
Go through my email, see what I find. There's a left.
Well, it would just, it would be appropriate to find out who the officials at the church would be
Dave
there.
Goodman would probably be the best person.
Okay.
He's got more time on his hands now. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other potential or existing comments? Okay, the next slot is available for chair and member comments. I have none. Anybody else, something they'd like to bring up or raise? Okay, so our next meeting is slated for November the 9th. Which I have a conflict with, I am now realizing at 7 p.m. So there is potential that I won't be in attendance, at which point the chair, who's the chair, Gary?
You're the chair.
The vice chair.
That means it's gonna be your meeting.
Would you be available if I can't make it?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, the town meeting will be within the next week, so we won't have very much for new business. So. I have a, like I said, I just realized that right now.
With a crackerjack flood like we have, no problem.
We heard that.
You could also, based off of the agenda, if it's an insufficient agenda, you can choose to cancel the meeting. There's,
So we'll be in discussion about that.
yeah, why don't you analyze that?
And everybody's more than happy to, welcome to share their thoughts.
yeah.
Okay, so that's all we have to say. Yes, that's appropriate, but Dennis,
Have we heard anything more about the golf course?
no,
Other than-
I have not.
Do we know what's going on there?
I play golf there regularly still.
Are they still playing golf?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, if the weather's still good.
I think they're still playing golf there.
Has the planning board seen anything?
No. We are discussing changing some of the zoning.
Well, we can try to reach out and see if there's any, interest in further discussions.
What's the specific question about the golf course, Dennis? I'm not,
We had heard that it was up for sale back maybe 2 years ago. And I haven't heard anything further about when.
nothing
There's
has crossed like the land use office for sale of the golf course yet.
We'll keep our ears open.
Yep.
Is there something you wanted to say, George?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?